Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rect Capital and welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me in today's video about the stock to flow model, but we're also going to be talking about the Pi cycle top indicator and gelling these two perspectives together and trying to understand Bitcoin's price action in a bit more detail. And also later in this video, we're going to be covering Morpheus Labs, a new partner here on the channel. We're going to be devoting an entire segment to Morpheus Labs later on in the video, so stick around for that as well. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and let's dive right in. So Bitcoin's price action last week printed a long upside wick, very similar to the upside wick that we saw back here. And many people are worried about this particular candlestick being a shooting star. And the thing about this is that candlesticks in isolation, we shouldn't be paying attention to them necessarily in isolation, because if we're focusing on this major resistance area, which figured as a severe point of rejection, causing Bitcoin's price action to crash quite severely, specifically, and most importantly, 53% downside upon this rejection, if you just juxtapose this major resistance area and now candlesticks forming above this major resistance area with a weekly close, with a successful retest attempt of this area as a support, and now follow through here, it's really important to just notice how the context is entirely different to this time right over here, because this shooting star candle formed at higher levels, of course, here, but ultimately weekly close above, or at least below, this major resistance area. So essentially we saw a stretching out of the rubber band towards the upside, but then that rubber band got stretched back down, which is what we tend to see happen at resistances. Whereas here, at this resistance, you saw the stretching of the rubber band, but that rubber band is still above this area of now support. I hope that makes sense. In any case, this is a retesting of price of this previous major resistance area into a new area of support. Price is holding these highs quite nicely, and we just need to see how things continue to play out, because of course this is going to be the next resistance to watch out for, 65k, that old all-time high. We got a new all-time high, and across cycles we don't see double tops happen, so I'm still fairly confident this is a mid-cycle period that is now ending. Now we're just trying to establish support at higher regions, and dipping into this region a bit deeper would be perfectly fine as well, but at the moment we haven't actually got that. We only tapped this area on the very top of that support before moving higher. So this is a retest attempt. This is still the retest attempt that Bitcoin is enjoying right now. And in terms of this stock to flow model and Bitcoin's price, we are still at the very top of this reaccumulation range. You can see how we're testing the very range highs, and the first time we tested it we saw a 53% crash, but now we're testing this range high once again, and it's important to now watch out for a potential rejection, which we already got, but above all else we need to see how is this range high weakening. And given how we've shifted in that price positioning with this retest being now in progress, this range high does look to be considerably weaker than before, but generally speaking we are still in this reaccumulation range. We're just waiting for that macro breakout to occur, and you can see that this stock to flow line, this 365-day average, is figuring at it as a resistance, but it's located at the $78,000 region roughly speaking, and this is going to be a fluctuating figure, because though we're seeing a flattening out in the stock to flow line, still there are some bumps to the upside and to the downside. Generally 78k is going to be that region which we need to break beyond to see that upside deviation. That upside deviation beyond this stock to flow line being the one that ends the bull market. So there's going to be a period of time where we see an upside deviation beyond this stock to flow line, and once we see that bull market peak, we're going to see that upside deviation revert back to the mean and even deviate towards below this stock to flow line, like we saw right over here. Upside deviation and then downside deviation, upside deviation and then downside deviation. So that's what we're going to see in this cycle as well. Upside deviation and then a crash below this stock to flow line. But at the moment, we are in that macro reaccumulation range, so that upside deviation still lies ahead. And in terms of the Pi cycle top indicator, we spoke about this 111-day moving average being really important as a support, and this moving average, the 350 times 2 moving average, that's going to be a resistance, because in the past we tend to see this orange area figure as a support and this green area figuring as a resistance. And this green level right over here signifies the price point of $83,500. And this is where we're probably going to see some rejection, some stronger rejection. And should we not see that strong rejection at that point, we might see a bit of a dip. Generally, flipping this level, breaking beyond it, is what precedes fantastic parabolic upside. And that would be the ultimate confirmation for further parabolic rise in Bitcoin's price action. So gelling these two perspectives together, you can notice how we haven't seen this upside deviation in the stock to flow model, and that's what's necessary for price to actually enter a parabolic state, and that's the 78k region. Beyond 78k, that's where that parabolic rise could start to begin. But by the same token, we are still mid-trend in terms of the Pi cycle moving averages. And once we break 83.5k, that's when that parabolic rise would really start to take shape. In any case, guys, that's about it for this segment of the video. Let's dive into the next segment where we're going to be talking about Morpheus Labs in a bit more detail, our new partner here on the channel. Let's dive into that segment. Hey guys, welcome to this part of the segment where we're going to be talking about our new partner here, Morpheus Labs, in a bit more detail. We'll be talking about the fundamentals of Morpheus Labs and then coupling that with the technical analysis side, just to give you a better understanding of the project as a whole from a fundamental perspective and the price action. So let's dive right into it. Morpheus Labs, just to introduce Morpheus Labs, is an end-to-end blockchain platform as a service, and it simplifies blockchain application development by offering tools, infrastructure, and various blockchain protocols, which enables the building and managing of applications at minimal cost and time. And what's impressive to see from Morpheus Labs already is that they are engaging in building strong collaborations with key players. So for instance, Morpheus Labs has recently co-launched a service offering named the Launchpad with Huawei, which is an important step in bringing Morpheus Labs a little bit closer to that mass adoption. This Launchpad is going to enable stronger activities, but aside from stronger marketing activities and broadening outreach through marketing initiatives, this Launchpad will focus on joint go-to-market business, cloud, and blockchain solutions targeted at key industries. And as a blockchain project, it's really important to reach out to key target segments and get that key stakeholder support to grow the ecosystem to encompass these key industries. And a strong collaboration with Huawei is going to enable just that. So Morpheus Labs is really positioning itself for success in getting that outreach, because after all, such strong marketing activities with a key player such as Huawei is actually helping reduce barriers of reaching out to enterprises and developers and stakeholders that might need this blockchain as a service going forward. And speaking of strong strategic partnerships, what's really important for a blockchain platform as a service like Morpheus Labs is that enterprises need storage. And this Morpheus Labs partnership with Ochain and Huawei is an important step forward in building a decentralized storage network. It's really important for enterprises to have a storage network, and in this case it's going to be a decentralized storage network, and this partnership is going to be focusing on making the setup and onboarding onto this decentralized storage network that much more easier and simpler. This partnership is going to take away a lot of the nuance from setting up a storage node, and it's going to enable a seamless and accelerated onboarding onto ZeroChain's decentralized storage network. So these strategic partnerships are really important in making things just that much more simpler for enterprises these solutions are intended for. And speaking of making things a little bit easier, simpler, more seamless and scalable, Morpheus Labs is now on the Polygon network, which is of course going to enable faster transaction speed and lower gas fees, but above all else, it's going to enable users to build scalable and more efficient decentralized applications and DeFi solutions across different blockchains. Is going to be more efficient, simpler, faster, and this is the way forward to making things much more scalable. And in fact, after being on the Polygon network successfully, Morpheus Labs has been listed on QuickSwap decentralized exchange, where you can trade lightning fast speeds but also near zero gas fees. But by the same token, Morpheus Labs is also listed on Uniswap as well as KuCoin. And on that note, let's now dive into the TA portion of this segment to look at the MITX Morpheus Labs token in a bit more detail and analyze its price action across the USDT and BTC pairing. So the USDT pair right over here, we can see a clear wedging structure forming ever since that May crash that saw Bitcoin correct 53%. And now we've been seeing this consolidation inside this wedging structure, but nonetheless, there is a key resistance right over here, a major resistance area that tends to reject this wedging breakout. So we have seen a fake out from this wedge. We've seen a breakout that didn't really materialize into much because of this final resistance area. And the fact that we've seen a rejection from this red area, which didn't lead to the bottom of this wedging structure, you're seeing these higher lows form. So buyers are happy to buy Morpheus Lab at a premium every time we see a pullback, especially from this red resistance area. So we're seeing a weakening from this resistance area, especially since we're maintaining these series of higher lows. This has been a wonderful U-shaped cupping reversal, and now you can think about this price action as a cup, a U-shaped reversal on the more micro scale, but the validation point of this cupping structure is of course the top of this major resistance area. And breaking beyond this resistance area would enable a 70% rally towards the upside. Of course, this is actually accumulation before the next macro uptrend. We may see a retest attempt of the top of this wedging structure, but that retest attempt would be a means to an end to enabling a break beyond this resistance to enable a rally towards the 10-cent region at least. So that's the USDT pair. What we see here on the BTC pair is an interesting picture of price action as well, because you can see this blue level right over here has been a dominant support for so long, for many months, and recently Morpheus Labs has actually broken below this region. But the thing about this is that it's a fake breakdown, because we're already recovering above this level, and a weekly close like this would enable a retest attempt of this level once again before rallying towards the upside, because at the moment you can see here that this is a range bound construction, which after a significant retrace like this, as long as this range continues to hold, we could see this actually become a new accumulation range. This is something we need to continue to watch out for. As long as the range low continues to hold and it's recently been reclaimed, we could see a revisit of these red highs. So essentially very simple price action here on the BTC pair, range high resistance, range low support, which has been reclaimed as a support, and we're probably going to see some consolidation inside this range right over here, with scope to revisit the very top of that range in the coming weeks, just like we're waiting for this new macro uptrend to emerge on the USDT pair with breaking this resistance area. And once it does, then we're going to see that new uptrend take place. In any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Feel free to check out the links in the description down below for Morpheus Labs, to visit their website, join their engaged community on Telegram, and feel free to follow them on Twitter for more up-to-date updates. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.